Welcome to the 5th Ministerial Briefing of the year, an ongoing dialogue between the Nigerian government and the people. Today, we bring you achievements from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Interior. This week's event commenced with the first and third stanzas of the national anthem, followed by a welcome address from the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris.
I hereby take the liberty to reaffirm the commitment of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration to upholding press freedom and creating a conducive environment for the media to practice in this country. This administration believes that a free and responsible press is essential for good governance, transparency, and national development. Let me emphasize that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as a foremost Democrat, is fully committed to protecting the constitutionally guaranteed rights of all Nigerians and also encourages constructive criticism and healthy opposition because of their essential role in reinforcing and deepening our democratic framework.
The minister highlighted the significance of the press briefings in keeping the public informed and reaffirmed the government's dedication to President Tinubu's mandate.
Since the launch of the 2025 series of Ministerial Press Briefing, 7 of my colleagues, honorable ministers, have taken the stage to present their scorecards to Nigerians. Let me re-emphasize that each minister will have the opportunity to engage directly with Nigerians during this forum, leading up to the 2025 Democracy Day celebrations. This initiative, being driven by the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, highlights the government's commitment to accountability. It equally serves as a platform to keep Nigerians informed about the ongoing policies and programs of the Tinubu administration to foster active citizens' engagement in the nation's governance process. I would like to once again express my appreciation to the media for your dedication in covering the Ministerial Press Briefing session. Today's briefing takes place within a significant period as the Nigerian Union of Journalists is marking its 70th anniversary. This is a milestone that reflects NUJ's enduring commitment to press freedom and journalistic excellence.
The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, gave us a rundown of Nigeria's foreign policy successes.
The most important thing that we've been doing, in my opinion, is redeeming Nigeria's image abroad. When I say redeeming Nigeria's image abroad, I'm talking about compensating for any faults that we may have projected. And I think we've succeeded in that. The next stage is really to exalt and glorify Nigeria's image abroad. In terms of redemption, we now have a good image. I'm confident to say that. Now, how have we been able to do that? We have done that by restoring the dignity of Nigerian citizens in other countries, and by having a zero tolerance for the humiliation of Nigerians anywhere in the world.
He highlighted several diplomatic victories, including the rescue of detained Nigerians abroad.
I will give you real-life examples, and I will start by a young man from Benue State by the name of Jesse Ode, who was locked up in a country. I'm not going to name the country. No need to know. We're not going to be naming names. And even though there were instructions to even have him released by the authorities, the highest authorities of that country, it never happened for years, until the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration negotiated through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs using diplomatic channels and diplomatic pressure to have Jesse Ode released. He's back home. He's living safely. He's going about his business.
Minister Tugar discussed the 4D foreign policy doctrine: democracy, development, demography, and diplomacy, emphasizing that these pillars guide Nigeria's global engagements. Key alliances include United States, collaboration through the African Growth Opportunities Act, AGOA, and the successful repatriation of funds.
And this all has to do, of course, with the 4Ds: democracy, development, demography, and diaspora. And this concept of strategic autonomy that gives us all this leverage to engage with all of these countries all over the world. Again, I want to give an example of something tangible that has been done: a refund of certain stolen funds that were taken to the US, impounded, sale of a particular yacht, something that was stuck. It was under this administration that we negotiated for the repatriation of those funds. And this was done almost one-to-one between myself and the then Deputy Secretary of State. And there was a deadline because they wanted to conclude before handing over, because we had put so much pressure. And we succeeded in that. And still on the US, I want to talk about the African Growth Opportunities Act. A lot of African countries were looking to Nigeria to lead the charge to see that the African Growth Opportunities Act was extended, because the US Congress was looking to, it was considering bringing it to an end. It is important because it allows a lot of African countries to export to the United States of America so that they don't face tariffs.
China strengthened trade relations and upgraded ties to a strategic partnership.
I will also talk about China and the upgrading of our relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership. But that was not just an empty pronouncement, because we were also able to get China to allow Nigeria to start exporting groundnuts, cashew, ginger, at least five products.
Brazil, a 1.1 billion euro investment deal.
When we talk about Brazil, we talk about JBS that visited about 2 weeks ago. They're the largest players in terms of livestock in the world. They slaughter something like 80 million chicken a day from all over the world, 20-something million cows all over. They have decided they're coming to invest. And this is following in the footsteps of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's visit to Brazil. They are not only going to invest in livestock, but also the feed, so soybeans. Brazil is right up there when it comes to that. We have the Green Imperative project, which we signed recently. I believe it was even this week, worth $1.1 billion with Brazil. This is something that was also stuck for such a long time. It's finally been concluded. It's all over the media. I'm sure if you check, you will see. And this is going to have one project per local government, so 774 projects.
Germany, focus on renewable energy and education, including 20 scholarships for Nigerian students.
Germany, as you all know, I served in Germany, so you know that I'm not going to dwell too much on some of the achievements there, but let me just highlight what we have managed to do with the European School of Management, where we secured, for starters, 20 scholarships for Nigerians. Yesterday, there was the Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue, where Nigeria was announced as a partner to Germany in the Green Guarantee Group, which is going to be providing credit guarantees for businesses in the renewable sector, solar, hydro, etc.
Nigeria's participation in peace efforts in Gaza, as well as the nation's election to the African Union Peace and Security Council, were also discussed as key milestones.
People don't know that it was Nigeria that was negotiating the exit of babies, of infants from Gaza to neighboring countries, to Jordan, to Egypt, to United Arab Emirates, so that they will be able to be treated. They can get the treatment that they could not get in Gaza. Talk about Africa and our recent victory in the African Union elections, where Nigeria was the only country to sweep its elections. First round, Nigeria was voted as a member of the Peace and Security Council. First round, Bankole Adeoye, Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, was voted back to his position.
Next, the Honorable Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, got down to business, discussing how the ministry is working around the clock to keep our borders safe and our citizens secure.
Barack Obama once said, "A secured border is a safe nation." Show me a country that cannot secure its borders, and I'll show you a nation that can never be safe. What did President Bola Ahmed Tinubu do what has he done in the last couple of months? We had our terrestrial border about 4,047 kilometers, mainly unmanned. But I can tell you as we speak, a lot of these border posts have been reconstructed and officers on duty to ensure that even terrestrial migration is regulated. That's number one. Number two is the fact that it will interest you that the Nigeria Immigration Service didn't have a command and control center. For a country, the biggest country in Africa, over 230 million people, and there is no command and control center for migration management. It means we're just joking. This president came, and what did he do? Within 12 months, from scratch, from foundation, a command and control center was built, and not just built, the command and control center was equipped. Not just equipped, a command and control center was integrated with all security checklists and database everywhere in the world on real-time basis. And what is the result? Just 2 days ago, somebody on the red list of Interpol was apprehended in Abuja just because of the command and control center, the solution that we have.
Other achievements include the introduction of e-gates at airports, the centralization of visa processing, and the renovation of 29 correctional centers across Nigeria.
Well, we're introducing our e-visa rather than what we call the visa on arrival. The e-visa means you get your visa within 48 hours maximum coming into Nigeria. We have to make it easy. And the era when you will need to go to, it's compulsory you go to a visa application center for biometric before you come to Nigeria, even for 1 week, for 2 days, that era is gone. We are opening our space to make sure that we're able to bring more people into Nigeria. I don't want to dwell only on Nigeria Immigration Service and of course, our border control, maritime border control, our land border control, surveillance solution via the e-border solution is up and running as we speak. We have been able to handle about 60% of our land border, which is about 2,400 kilometers, has been covered by issue of our border surveillance. And of course, with monitoring and everything happening in a centralized location, at the level of the Nigeria Immigration Service headquarters. And of course, the remaining 40%, the phase 2, which covers the 40%, is what we are presently working on. And with that, we should be able to have an eagle view of all the 4,047 kilometers of our land border. We have started the process of renovating those correctional centers. As I always say, if years back, 20 years, 30 years, 15 years, there's been this sort of constant renovation, we will not be where we are. Mr. President is starting and doing all these things from scratch, and you get to these correctional centers, you will know that it is no longer business as usual in this center. And of course, Mr. President has also approved the process for the commencement of the process of the relocation of 29 correctional centers across the country.
The ministry has also improved inmate welfare, increasing the feeding allowance by 50%, and has empowered over 3,000 inmates through training programs.
We must also know that when this particular administration came, Mr. President has increased the feeding allowance of our inmates by 50%, which is huge. But regarding where we are, yes, we're not yet where we want to be, but we're not where we were, and we're not where we don't want to be. Mr. President has increased the feeding of our inmates, the feeding allowance of our inmates.
Minister Tunji Ojo also emphasized national security efforts, including the deployment of over 10,000 agro-rangers to protect farmlands and the dismantling of over 200 illegal refineries in the Niger Delta.
And also, I have to also say this, that we were able in the last 1 year to destroy over 2,125 illegal refineries and oil dumps across the Niger Delta. That's part of what NSCDC were able to do. About 205 trucks conveying illegally refined petroleum products were also apprehended, and over 700 suspects arrested, and a lot of them being prosecuted as we speak. And of course, last year, we secured over 345 convictions by the NSCDC, while about 187 cases are still in court as we speak. And this is, of course, this particular administration too has been able to we have been able to train and deploy over 10,000 agro-rangers across our farm settlements to be able to give support to the Ministry of Agriculture. And of course, this administration has also been able to procure over 100 operational vehicles for the cause, because we know we want them to work, and it will be wickedness if we expect them to deliver when we have not empowered them to deliver.
The Q&A session provided an opportunity for journalists to seek further clarity on key issues.
My question is for the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs. Honorable Minister, sir, I want to thank you again for your presentation. Yeah, for several months, ambassadors were recalled. Until now, new ones have
Sorry, Mom.
appointed.
Please, members of the press, can you please give...
While I understand that it's not within your power to appoint, I want to find out from you if this delay does not affect the implementation of your foreign policies. If it does, what are you telling Mr. President so that he can do what he's supposed to do and appoint ambassadors for Nigeria?
About appointment of ambassadors, what I can say to you is, it is what it is. It's the nature of governance, it's the nature of politics. You work with the circumstances you find yourself. But I would like to assure you that in the very near future, names of nominated ambassadors are going to be forwarded to the Senate. So this is something that is more or less concluded.
I have one question for the Minister of Interior. You said you increased the daily allowance of prisoners by 50%. We would like to know what this plus 50% is in real terms. How much is it?
During the question and answer session, the Minister of Information had to excuse himself from proceedings to attend another state function. He formally delegated his role to Mr. Bayo Onanuga, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy.
As I go out, Mr. Bayo Onanuga will sit in for me. I will now hand over the microphone to the Honorable Minister of Interior. I'm not abdicating. I have another state function that I have to attend to. Thank you very much.
When we came, what we had was our daily feeding rate of 750 naira. So what we have as we speak is 1,125 naira. So that's what we have at the moment. So which sums up to the 50% we said.
Today, I think it's a fact that the prices of food
are beginning to come down, at least we expect that more will still be achieved. But then this can only be sustained if we have a level of security on our farmlands. Here I'm talking about the agro rangers. Just 2-3 days ago, some farmers were killed in Ondo. Very many times, farmers were killed, and even other people in Benue and a couple of other places. Now, what is happening about these agro rangers? You mentioned it in passing, but we still need to dwell on it. What is happening to it? Our farmlands still appears to be insecure.
Security is a going concern, either we like it or not. That's the truth. And I have to say, we must, as much as I'm not here to justify the little remnants of the ills, but we must also understand where we were and where we are. I think it's very important that we should understand this. As of May 29 last year, you will know May 29, 2023. The question is, where were we? The question now is, where are we? And there has to be a comparison for us to know maybe we're making progress or not. I don't need to tell you that we're making progress. The simple truth is that we're making serious progress as a country in terms of internal security solutions, And with regards to the farmers, I said it in my presentation that in the last 1 year, we've trained 10,000 NSCDC officials, 10,000 to go to the farmlands as agro rangers. And just last year, towards the end of last year, Mr. President gave us approval for recruitment of 10,000 NSCDC new officers to be able to boost the capacity that we have. So it shows a president who genuinely cares, who understands that when you talk about internal security, you must have boots on ground. That is the truth. And he has given that approval and that nod for us to be able to do that. So yes, I have to acknowledge that there are still some challenges. But the issue is, are we putting in the right effort? The answer is yes. Are we where we were? The answer is no. Are we where we would think we should be? The answer is no. But we are on the right we are making progress. And that is what is important. Any country in the world, I'm not justifying this, but I have to say this very clearly, not just about the issue of agro rangers and etc. Internal security in any country is a going concern. Some will come, but the issue is that the state must rise up to be able to subdue and to tame it. And that's what I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing with regards to what we have. So I want to assure you that when it comes to the issue of security, we have done a lot under this administration. More will still be done because this is a president who understands that his number one responsibility is protection of lives and property. And with what we have seen with regards to the security situation of Nigeria today, we cannot say he does not understand that.
In the last 6 months or thereabouts, over 140 Chinese have been arrested in Nigeria for engaging in cyber fraud. And what some of them do is they come to Nigeria and engage some of our youth and use them to, to defraud people online, romance scam and the rest of them. And there are speculations that there's a visa syndicate in either the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or the Ministry of Interior. So we'd like to find out whether you have investigated this and maybe get down to the roots to know those who are actually bringing in these Chinese, those who are facilitating their entry into Nigeria.
About Chinese arrested for fraud, if I get that right. Now, of course, China is a country of 1.2, 1.3 billion people. So, like any other large country, there are good people, there are bad people in China. Some come out here. Of course, it is not surprising that there are bad eggs that find their way here. But it does not mean that we should categorize all Chinese that are here as being bad. Most of them, the overwhelming majority of Chinese that are here in Nigeria are doing business legitimately, working legitimately. But in the case of the bad eggs, we have a criminal justice system. We have security agencies that are charged with the responsibility of investigating and prosecuting such bad eggs should they commit crimes. They have to abide by our laws when they come here, and that's exactly what we're ensuring that they do.
My question is for the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs. You mentioned that Nigeria was involved in the process of transfers for babies in war-torn Gaza to neighboring countries. Could you provide more details on this, including partners or agencies that were involved in the process? Thank you.
With regards to the infants and babies that were taken from Gaza and sent to hospitals in Jordan, in Egypt, in the United Arab Emirates, what we did, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Nigeria did was it worked in conjunction with the Red Cross. So Red Cross approached us to find out if we would be willing to take in such babies, because they were looking for countries that had shown concern about the state of affairs in Gaza, particularly of young people, of the hardship that the Gazans were facing at the time. So our response was that we cannot take the risk of such infants that were in fragile conditions. Some of them were born with heart conditions, for instance. For them to be flown all the way from the Middle East to Nigeria, if something happens, I'm sure everybody will say, wait till send you when you have your own problem here. So that is why we decided, look, the best thing for us to do is we will use our good offices, we will use diplomacy to contact the governments, the ministers of foreign affairs of Jordan, of United Arab Emirates, of Egypt, and impress upon them the need for them to take in such children. And that's exactly what happened. And Alhamdulillah, it succeeded.
The briefing concluded with remarks from the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, who expressed gratitude to the media for their continued support.
I think the journalists have had a good day today listening to you about what you are doing in your ministries. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Let me also thank our journalists, our colleagues. Thanks for coming as usual. We appreciate your coming. In fact, today is, by my observation, this is a well-attended press briefing today. We thank you a lot. I hope you do justice to what the two ministers have said today. This series continues next week, so we expect all of us to come here again on Thursday next week for another meeting with two or just one minister. So I want to wish everybody well. Happy weekend in advance. Thanks a lot.
And that's a wrap for this week's briefing. Stay with us for the next ministerial briefing as we continue to bring you updates on Nigeria's progress and the policies shaping our nation's future. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay committed to Nigeria's progress.